Hi there, lovely stitchers. I hope you're all well. So this week in Through the Garden Gate, I'm going to do a foxglove. And my reason for that is I've been watching the RHS Chelsea Flower Show, um, following along with it on the BBC. And foxgloves keep on popping up. And I don't know about you, but I absolutely adore them, and especially in the natural environment when I'm walking. I do have one come up in my garden, even though I do try and plant, sow the seeds, plant them, whatever. I don't know, just don't seem to have come up. So I know they're biennial. So the first year's for the leaf, and the second year is the flower and the seed. So but I've got a beautiful white one, and it's called something Dalmatian. I can't remember now, but anyway, it's been planted in my moon garden, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I will get lots of seeds and it'll come back in a couple of years' time. So, but in the meantime, I've sown seeds for this year, and and they are popping through. So let's get I'll keep my fingers crossed. So anyway, I'm digressing. I I've drawn this little kind of. Don't worry if you're not very good at drawing. We're not doing, you know, perfect specimens here. I'm going to do like a patchwork of things. So I've got a bit of purple fabric for the flowers. I've done found a load of greens out for the leaves. We'll do like a bit of an applique kind of thing. So even if you're not very good at stitching or you're not very good at drawing, you'll be able to do this. So first up, I'm going to put my stem in, because I drew this and it's way too big. The composition's way too big for this, but the leaf shape is just an elliptical kind of shape, and it doesn't matter if you can't get it, spot on. I cut out a couple here that are nowhere near the shape, but I'll still use them in some form. So don't worry about, because I have had somebody say, oh, I can't draw. Neither can I. I'm just winging it. So if you look at a foxglove flower, it's kind of just a tube with a frill. So we're going that kind of shape with a little frill on it. And that's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to do this out of fabric. I might stitch a little bit on here with some green. I got some green bits out, but I didn't get any green thread, as in for the. Use a bit of candy floss, I think. I'm loving this candy floss now. I used to be mad about stranded cottons, but I find this so much easier. It's far less faffing around, splitting the strands, etc., etc. So, and I do have it in the shop. Shameless plug. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to sort of do. A little in some fabric up on here. I did try and stitch, do a bit of stitching over, but it was too intricate, and I just thought, oh, that's not for me this week. We're not into that this week. So right, let's put the stem in. I'm just going to find a bit of something to lean on, because I've got my back of my moon. If you haven't seen that one, that's last week's. So I'm on week 7, but week 8 on there. I don't know why. So I'm going to come up, and I'm just going to do one. Just going to follow what I did. One spike up here. Okay, and I'm going to put some leaves in down here, but I will do another smaller spike, spear, and one here. I like to work in threes, and I've done it slightly off centre, just because that's how I work. I try and, you know, composition wise, I always try and get a bit off centre. Right, I hope you can see. Just using a pencil. I ought to have used a darker. So what I'm going to do first is I have got some thicker yarns. I'm just going to have a look-see. Quite like that colour. Or do we like that one? Where's that one? That one's a little bit, that one. I'm going with that. Oh. I'm going to just couch this down. And couching, it's just literally you lay your thread or your yarn, and you just hop over. I'll show you. And I've got this bit of silk that I'm going to use, just because it's variegated. I haven't got any scissors, so I use them. I'm not very organised this morning or this week at all. I've been procrastinating, which is not a good thing, is it? So let's get rid of that piece of card. That's like my Farmer Gracie bits and bobs that have come. Just a minute, because I just to start my couching off, I'm going to thread up my fabric into a great big thick needle. I think this is a size 18 needle. I'm going to, let me see if you can see, the sun's shining out a funny angle this morning. I'm going to go down through and pull it all the way through. Okay, and then I'm just going to get rid of the needle. And I will cut it off when I get to the end, but I'll just going to give it a little bit of a tail, because as I stitch over, I'll get both threads in. So I've just got distracted because I've got a few messages come through on my phone. As always, no one wants to speak to me until I start filming. So I'll just make sure I've got the sound switched off. Just a moment. Oh, I've unthreaded my thread. There we go. I've just got a picture up of Foxgloves on my phone, just to give me an idea. Actually, I am going to cut a bit of this. I'm going to cut this up. Right, so I'm going to lay my yarn along and cut it off there. I might even, while I'm at it, put this one through as well, just so we can kill two birds with one stone. Put that end when I'm stitching it down. There we go. Ooh. So couching, I'm going to come up, I'm going to hold that in place where I'm as well, so I can come both sides. Am I in a shot? Yes. I'm just going to come up one side of my yarn and jump over and down the other side in a straight line. Oh, I'm just wondering if you can see, because the sun is really glaring in here. I hope you can. So again, you come up one side of your yarn. You don't want to make too big a gap either. Probably about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 a centimetre, something like that, and go straight over the other side. I'm just checking that I'm getting my thread, my other yarn, my yarn underneath in as well. Okay, so you kind of, and you can come up the same side, the opposite side. It's not going to matter one bit. You won't see it. Do whatever suits you. But I would just say, just try and keep your gaps between the stitching, your couching, in reasonably similar sizes. Okay. Cross. Oh my goodness me, the sun. I shouldn't complain. It's rare that we have this amount of sun at this time of year in the UK. Hold on, I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. I'm just going to check the back of my work. See, that's couched it down as well, caught it in. So no need for a great big knot or anything. And when I get to this end, I'll try and do the same thing. So I'm going to follow that line along. And this is like so easy to do. I do this a lot on my work because it just means I can use different kinds of fancy threads that I'll come across. Also used a lot in gold work. Get your rhythm going. I know you can see the stitches, but that's all part of it. I don't mind. Just coming up. So yes, I was talking about the Chelsea Garden, RHS Chelsea Garden show. For you guys that aren't in the UK, I do believe that it is world famous and revered to be the best flower show in the world. I mean, I'm just going on kind of articles I've read, etc. But you may have flower shows in your part of the world that are just as lovely. Well, come on, let's face it. If they've got flowers and plants, it's going to be gorgeous, isn't it? Oops. Oh, what have I done here? Myself in a bit of a... I've been gardening myself and I've got all little bits and bobs over my fingers, little burrs. And you know, when you're stitching, everything catches on, doesn't it? I do try and keep my hands in a reasonably good shape. But when gardening, you can't. Right, ouch! Just stuck myself with the needle. I'm just going to try and get my thread. Oh, it's started to stitch itself down already. Can you see? I haven't even tried to stitch it down, and it's already found its way. So yes, the Foxgloves heavily influenced me this week. And I was watching. It seems to be like they have trends, don't they? The gardeners have the trends. I mean, some of them are incredibly talented. Well, all of them are incredibly talented. There we go. That's that couch down. And to emulate something like that in my garden would be, oh gosh, I'd be over the moon. But can you see it's couched itself down that side as well? So of no worry whatsoever. What I'll do is I'll do one spike and then we can come back and oops, and I'll do one and then we'll, I can do those off camera. So I'm going to do some little flowers. Let's just move you out of the way so we don't get distracted. But I just want to, because I've done, so what I'll do is I'll stitch. Shall I get a darker pen so you can see? Let me get in shot. It's all very well and good. Good enough. I will, let me just get my picture up again. Just looking, yeah. So I'll just stitch some little bits. I'll do those after, but I'll just do that in a green with a bit of a backstitch or something of the spent flower, if you like. But I come here and I'm just going to do a tube, so an upside down U, and then the tube here is kind of curved, but it's got a point on it. Do you see? And then that'll have a little green cap on again, which I'll do with that. So let's do another. It's a bit big, that is, but it doesn't matter. Who's looking? Again, I'm going to do something over this side that's on the side. I'll do a bit of a stem so we can come out a bit. Don't worry. Don't worry too much about shapes. As long as they've got a little bit of an idea what's going on. It's all about suggestion. And as I come up, I'll do a bud. So that'll just be a little oval shape. Again, come this side and that with one. We'll have you standing up. And then just some little buds that are tighter up here. So I'll pop those in with stitch, or a little bit of fabric on. So let's do the first, where's my pen lid? The first one. So what I want to do is I want to do the inside. Oh, that's got a nice, see that? That's got a nice, I'll use that for something. Goodness knows what, but a nice selvage. So the inside I'm going to do lighter than the outside. So let's just have a bit of get some fabric. Not need very much luck. I'm literally just chopping a little tiny bit off. Don't know, and I'll roughly do the shape of you. I'm sort of doing like a triangle but with curves. It's a bit big, but it doesn't matter. I might need smaller scissors actually. There we go. You will do there, and I'll stitch you down. But I'm going to stitch a little frill around it because they have like a little, and I'll probably do it in that pale pink. Can't find the end. Needle. There we go. I'm just having a look. Or just going to glue it down. Just so it doesn't move around. I'll pop the glue on that. And just pop a bit of glue there. Okay. This is just quilted English paper piecing glue. If and there will be a link in the description box below for all these things because people do ask me. So let's move you again. All I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little. Actually, let me just cut my piece. Oh no, I don't need to. What I'm thinking. I'm going to do a little kind of like a picot edge, but we'll do it in blanket stitch. So I'm coming up, and I'm only going to do this side because you won't see this. Oh gosh, I'm desperately trying to. I've got the blinds down, but it's just not. So I'm only going to do this edge. You won't see this edge because it'll have the fabric coming over the top. So as I say, I'm going to do it in a blanket, a tiny blanket stitch. But I won't do it too tight. I'll leave it as a kind of a loose stitch. I'm not pulling my threads too tight, but I am doing it really close together. And I'm just going to go all around that edge. Bit of thread. Get rid of you. I'm just wondering, if you've not done blanket stitch before, it's really quite simple. So you want your working thread always behind your needle. So I'm going to come down a little stitch and come up and make sure my working thread is at the back of my needle and then pull through. So it makes like a little 7 shape, or you can go the other way. And then whether you're left-handed or right-handed, I go both ways because being an ex-teacher, you have to become ambidextrous very quickly when you're stitching. And sometimes, oh my goodness, my brain doesn't want to work, so I can't get it right. So here we go. I'm going around. Like I say, it's making it a suggestion of like the frilled edge. It's a bank holiday weekend this weekend, and I know a lot of us, well, other countries don't have them, but we do in the UK. So that means that we have a Monday off work. Everything's closed on a Monday. Well, it used to be. It's not so much now. Banks are, if you can find one that's actually got a branch these days. So I'm coming round to that. Yeah, so we all have a long weekend. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It is lovely. I'm going to a little music festival to Sunday afternoon. A friend of mine's birthday. So that's what we're going to do. Right. And to finish off, I'm just going to come in a little bit. You just need to just go straight back down over the top of that stitch and anchor it down. Okay, and whether you can see. So we've got a little frill round, and I'm just going to just fasten off my thread on the back. There we go. I'll hang on to you in a moment. So on a foxglove or digitalis, to give it its, they will have spots on the inside of the throat of their petal, their flower. That's to entice the bees in. So I'm going to do it and to say, hey, come and get me, come and look at my nectar. So let's do this in that colour, I think. If you're interested, this is colour 240, and the one I used for that is 238. They do all have names, but I couldn't tell you what they are. But as I say, this has got like a little shine to it, so it's gorgeous. So I'm just going to do a few spots in this, and I'll just do them as a straight stitch, little straight stitch. Again, it's just the suggestion of the flower. It's not, we're not doing it, you know, botanically correct. Oh, so that's anchored that down as well. Might actually have done it a bit short, but it wouldn't matter if you did it all the way up. If you use, you know, because we're going to cover this top bit up. So that will do nicely there. The only problem with gluing things down is you've got to go through that horrid glue. It's not the nicest to stitch through. There we go. Passing you off. I don't mind what the back of my work looks like, by the way. If you're worried about your work, the back of your work, don't. You won't see it. We'll have a sandwich of, you know, 2 pages, so you're not going to see this at all. Right, next colour, next bit. So I'm going to make a tube kind of shape. So let's just grab, do you know what? I think I need some smaller scissors. Let's grab some smaller scissors. Just sewing up. That's better. I'll use them for now. So I'm going to do a tube, but what I want to do is I want to make sure that this is raised, and I had some felt, some batting, but where has that gone? Where's that gone? Here, 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 here. This is when Reggie got some, when he was a puppy, he chewed up my batting. But it all gets used. Not used that bit, it's a bit thin. I didn't give you a list of what we needed, did I? Really? So I'm doing a double thickness of this batting, and I'm just going to do the shape, the outline shape. Let me see. A bit long that is. So this flower's a little bit huge. But I'm hoping it'll be fine. I'm just wondering now whether I need 2 layers. One might be. No, I'll do 2. Sit one on top of the other. So there we go. I've got those on. And they should, without any glue, they'll kind of stick to each other. So don't. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a little bit of fabric. Oops, see, it likes to over the top, but I'm not going to cut it perfectly to the shape. I need a bit of a curve there, look. Don't want to use that one, it keeps running. So a bit of a curve there. And then I'm coming up and over that. Up and over. There we go. Doesn't have to be perfect, as I say. That out. I will do the curve though. Up and over. Pop you down again. And then I'm just going to stitch it down. But I will use a machine thread. I got a tip from Kate at the last Homely House. She's a quilter, and she uses this dove grey for all her quilts, and it just disappears into the fabric. You don't see it. So I started using it for things that I don't want it to be able to see. Right, I'm just going to pop a pin in that. Wherever they are. Pins, pins, pins. Hello. There. Just so I don't wiggle off with it. Hold on. Because you're going to tuck under. Right, got a little pin in. I'm not stitching this bit down, or it needs to come further down. There we go. I'm not stitching this bit I'm going to stitch around that bit there. And I've lost my needle. There we go. Gertie here. So I am literally just going to do a little tiny stitches over the edge. So I'm whipping it over the edge. A bit like, well, it is a applique. But I want to make sure I'm coming up where I've drawn my line. So I'm just going to come up where I've drawn the line. There. Not going to worry too much. I want to kind of tuck it up. So I'm going to come underneath my piece of fabric. If you've got a fabric that's really quite frayy, you might want to pop it on a bit of Bondo web or heat and seal. I think that's what you call it in America, in the US. So back down and back up. You're kind of doing like an applique patch. Yeah, heat and seal, Bondo web, just to stop it from fraying. Maybe I should have done that with this. Hard to tell. I might actually do that on the next one, just to see. But it does bulk things out. That's my only downside, I would say. Make sure you're tucking your got a little spider there, look. Tiny little spider. Where have you come from? Oh gosh, let's get you off. And out to there. It's one of those little tiny red spider mite things. Goodness knows where that's come from. Oh, unthreaded my needle. Again. So yeah, make sure you're tucking your batting or your wadding or your piece of felt or your piece of fabric, whatever you're using, under so you don't see it. This is water erasable, by the way, this pen, so you won't see it. And I have noticed that, yes, it disappears the first time you spritz it, but it usually takes about 3 spritzes because it wants to keep coming back. So just going around the edge of everything, tucking under. This is fraying quite a bit. So yes, I will do some, I'll just press this whole bit onto a piece of Bondo web. Yeah. I'm not going to worry too much. I do like a scruffy look, but I need it to stay in place. I don't want it to be coming off. Take that pin out. Okay. So we are stitched down. Just make sure that that's attached down that side. There we go. So you've got a bit of a raised, it's a bit like stump work, but not quite as involved. I mean, in its purest sense, I would imagine it is classed as stump work, but you know. Rid of you. So I'm going to do the frill again. So we're going to come in with the paler pink and I'm coming on the edge using blanket stitch. So I'm coming up. I'm just going to just pop this stitch down a bit because it's sticking up. Thread behind my needle. And I'm only going into this top layer of fabric and around. And I would say my stitches are about 2 millimeters. What's that in old money? Don't know. 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch, something like that. So I'm going to come all the way around again, because this fabric seems to want to fray quite a lot. Making sure I'm not pulling too tight, and you don't want to pull too tight anyway, because you need like it wants to be flowing. Oh my goodness me, hang on. I've been thinking about this foxglove and the different ways to do it. Oh goodness. It's sometimes I wonder if I'm putting myself under too much pressure to come up with things that other people haven't done, or won't be seen as copying somebody. It's sometimes it's quite difficult. Right. Oh, look at that. That looks lovely. Let me get rid of that bit of blue. Just spritz it. Sun's gone in. That looks super. And you see what I mean about, I know you can see the stitching, but it kind of disappears, the colour of the thread. I've used, let me just get this is a Gutterman one, colour 643, but I also do use a Aurifil Dove Grey, and I can't remember the number of it, and I've not got it to hand, so it's on my sewing machine, but that one is brilliant as well. So yeah, I will highly recommend trying the Dove Grey, and I have lots and lots of different colours of threads, but I keep once I've discovered that one, it goes in my little sewing box, and that's it. I can take it around everywhere with me. Right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do this little bit of green here. I'm going to pop a bit of green on top of that as well. And again, this is colour 212 in the candy floss, my candy floss. Needle. People do ask me about the needles. I always use chenille needles. They've got a big eye, very sharp point. Chenilles and straw needles or milliner's needles are my go-tos. Pardon me. Right, so all I'm going to do here, I'm just going to do a little bit of a stem stitchy type thing going on, just so it's curving. There we go. And that is all I will do. Finish it off. And once I've spritzed this, you won't see that blue. There. I'm going to jump up here, do the same again. I'm going to put a little cap on this. So stem stitch. I'm doing a bit of a curve. You can do back stitch, you can do running stitch. I like stem stitch because it does sort of lend itself really well to a curve. And then all I'm going to do for this, I'm just going to go down, is I'm just going to do some little stitches. Oh, this fabric's wet. I don't want to. I'll just do some longish stitches and cover this up. Straight stitching. If you've not got fabric, you could do this with stitching, sewing. The only reason I didn't want to do that is because I don't want to spend all week stitching one thing. So, oh, do you see? I'm coming back into that same point, up and back to the same point, just to give it like a little cap, like a what do they call it? The anatomy of flowers is not my strong point. Is it a calyx? Calyx? I feel like it is. Okay. I made that disappear. So, is it focusing? There's my little calyx. And that's all I'm going to do on that. I'm going to come across here while I've got my thread on and do some more stem stitch. But obviously I need to put my petal in. So that will be fine. But up here I'll just do a little bit of, oops, similar kind of thing. Let's do this. Let me just get this out of the way so we're not it's not focusing on that. I'll do a little oval of, let's just see. I'm just going to pop you on pause. I'm going to get some Bondaweb. Not be a moment. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what Bondaweb is, it's like I'd say parchment paper or greaseproof paper. And on it, it's got like a glue type thing going on, which is the shiny sticky. It's not sticky, but it's like got a shiny glue on it. Don't know whether the camera's picking that up. So what you need to do is wrong side of the fabric to your bond the sticky side and then press down on this side, but I'm just going to put all my bits in. Ooch. I'll use this whole bit because it's it won't, I'll use it up anyway. This is it's Liberty fabric, that's why I'm being really mean with it. And then you just press on the non-sticky side, the bit without the glue on. Otherwise you're going to end up with a mess on your iron. Okay, and top tip, don't rub up and down because it makes it wrinkly. You just want to literally press. Okay, so that's stuck down. Can you see I've got glue on here, but when it dries off, it peels off. I'm not worried about that bit. You want scissors that you don't mind using for paper cutting. And just cut it out. If you're worried about this, you can always put a piece of paper underneath your iron, but it don't bother me because I'll just pick it off later. Cut that all out. And what I'll show you on a spare bit. Right. This, so if you cut out, just going to cut out a bit of shape. This is a rubbish. And you want to stick it down. So let's do this throat of this because we can stick it down. So I'm just going to do the shape. Is that a bit too big? I mean, a lot of you have probably used this Bondaware. What did I say? It was called Heat and Seal before, but it's just for those who are new to stitch in. So if I want to stick that down, I then want to peel the paper backing off. So my top tip is just give it a little tear like that, and the paper backing comes off easily. So you're left with a little bit of glue. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll press that down onto there. Okay. And then you can stitch. I mean, and that's instead of using the glue stick that I used earlier. But what I'm going to do is I will peel the paper backing off, but I won't stick it down onto this for the next one. It just gives it a bit of, when you cut it doesn't fray. So I'm just going to do some little, I use that. I was going to do an oval, wasn't I? Little oval shape. Don't have to be perfect. There we go. Might be a bit big. Right. Again, give it a little tear. Doesn't tear the fabric, just tears the paper. Oop. Off you go. And that's got a little bit of a thing going on, and I'm just going to pop my iron on that. Lovely. Another one. We'll do that and that. I'll do all of these because I will stitch this while I'm out, so they don't fall off. There. You could put some batting underneath, a little bit of batting underneath to give it a little bit of a mound shape if you wish, which I'm going to do here, but I'm not too worried about these. So I'm just going to come in and do this. I'm just wondering now if I need to put a bit of batting under it just to give it some shape. No, I'm not big. Oh, do you know what I might do? And pop a bit underneath it. So I am going to do that. I'll just do another bit and stick it over the top. I was that excited about popping this on. Gosh, I forget myself. So it'll need to be a little bit bigger so it comes round. Yeah, I need a bit of padding in it to give it that rounded shape. We don't want to be. So I've made this bit of fabric a little bit bigger. You see, full disclosure and all that. So I'm going to pop that on and see if this goes. It can be a bit smaller. You just need to have the patience to just keep on taking a bit off, Because if you're not working to an actual pattern, which I'm not, tuck you in. It's hard to sort of say this is what you need to do. Did you see I took the paper off, but I'm not going to glue it down. I'm not going to press it down. Just going to pin it. You can press it down, I don't know. But I'll need to be moving it round a bit because I want to tuck it in. Got very excited there, didn't I, for the moment? So, right, let me just switch the iron off so I don't burn myself. Move you out of the way. Oops. Oh, I keep getting my wheels stuck on my desk chair. Right, I'm back with the machine thread again. And I'm just going to come up. Just try and adjust so I'm tucking in there. Once I've got a stitch in, I'll take the pin out because it is in the way. You in, right, pin out, tuck in. But if you do needle turn applique, it's a similar kind of process or applique. raw edge applique. I think I showed you on the bird box one. We're coming in there, tucking in. So you want to tuck everything in and make sure you're going along the line, your first line, just to give it some body. Yeah, it needed a bit of wadding behind it, just to give it some lift off the fabric. And because I've got the Bonder web on, it's not fraying the fabric, so you can get quite close to the edge. Took my threads in. Just snip you off a little bit, you're a little bit long. You could even, I suppose, after we've done this, press it with the iron just to stick it to the, if you wanted. Don't think it's necessary, but okay. Yeah, it looks better than the flat. You just have to trust the process, don't you? Yeah, can you see it's got a bit of more something about it? I might have to stitch that bit down again. Seems to have come up out of the way. There we go. That's it. Finish that off. The only thing I will say, and I think I might, if I'm repeating myself, is you've got to go through the glue of the Bonder web, and it is quite stiff. You do want a very, very sharp needle. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some another, was that the right colour I was using? Yeah, it's there. So I was looking for my needle threaded up. It is that one. I'm just going to put some stitches on for the calyx and the stem. So I'm going to come over here. Just going to put a couple of stitches in there just to give another dimension. Oh, I've not had my breakfast yet. My stomach's rumbling. But that said, like I say, we're going to a little musicy festival, and my lovely friend Liz, hello Liz if you're watching, is always making pizzas and salad and oh gosh, all sorts of things. She's a beautiful cook and she makes some beautiful cakes, and I know she does watch the videos because she tells me she does. So yeah, she's a gorgeous person all round, and it's her hubby's birthday, so that's where we're going to the music festival. We're going to have a wonderful time. I'm going to hopefully see the tribute acts. So some of them are a bit dodgy, but it's all good fun. So yes, what I was saying was I don't want to spoil having lunch, and times are ticking on. Time is it? Oh, yeah, gonna have to. So I'm going to do, I'll probably put another one of these in a tiny one, but these will be stitched. But I will, and they'll just be stitched in the normal way. In fact, I'll show you now. And that can be, so up here, I'm just going to do some, I'll just do a bit of satin stitch probably, just to give it a bit of body. Ooh, that was a strange bit of a stitch I did. So we've got a little bit of a stitch going on. Are we zoomed in? There, didn't think I was. It's floating in midair, so I'm just going to anchor it to its stem. Right. And again, up here, same thing, bit of a stitch, then do a bit of satin stitch just to make a little pod. You see, there. So that is that. I'll finish that off in the same way, and I will do the other stems in the same way. Now, let's talk about the leaves. I will build up my leaves by just popping various different colours of, I don't know, where's that gone? Who knows? I made a lovely leaf out of this corduroy. Could be anywhere. Could be absolutely anywhere. What you can't see, by the way, ladies and gents, is the state of my desk. It's, yeah, you can imagine, can't it? Right, so I'm going to put some leaves flat on, but I am going to cheat and put Bondaweb on along here. But what I'm going to do, I'll just use this. I've collected together lots of different green fabrics. Oh, here's my leaf. See, it might be a bit big actually now, but I'm thinking if I stitch it down, anchor it down, and sort of give it a bit of a curl that way, and my leaves will sit, and I will give them movement. I know it's in a book and it will be flattened down, but I think you've got to, when you open the book, it won't be. So I'm going to cut out a few leaves of different varying shapes. So let's draw some, get a pencil. And the leaves are just going to be elliptical shape with the point on. Okay, so some will be flat on the paper, on the page, and some will stand up. But I won't do them as I won't put wadding behind them. I will just literally curl them. But I will show you that bit. because I don't want to cover up my stems just yet. So that's gorgeous. So I'd probably put that on, stitch it on and come across there and literally just anchor it there and there. Do some more. You see, I'm just doing little shapes. And I'm not worried that the fabric doesn't match. It doesn't bother me. I love this. This is from Japan Crafts, this is. Couldn't afford, so I bought a little charm pack, little tiny charm pack. And these can go on. And I'll just build up a little backing of fabrics that'll sit. That's a biggish leaf. Let's just move you out of the way. Oop. Okay, so you get my kind of idea. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to couch that and that down. Can you see where I've come over the top? I'll couch from there to there and then couch up there. Where's my big thread? Let's do that now. And I can put these on. Big needle. So I'll come up here. Leave myself a tail and go down there. Great big stitch. And I'm going to come up the other side of the flower. Tucked right in. Ooh. And then I'm going to go down up there. Okay, I will snip you off. And then we'll do exactly the same on this side. Don't worry about the curve. The curve will come when you're couching. I just wanted to put these in so we can do some. So can you see I'm coming all the way up, give myself a bit, follow that curve there, and I'm going to come into that top. I think I'll go over a little bit there. And when I couch down, because I'm leaving myself tails, it won't matter if I'm not quite right lengthwise. Brilliant. So that I'll couch those down, but I will do that as I go. You see, but I'll be able to put some leaves in now, and I will do that with my glue stick. Just going to plop some bit of that in. From under. I was going to glue them on, weren't I? I'm going to do them with the Bondo web. That's what I was going to do. Sorry, getting myself all. So I'll Bondo web these on, then I'll come back. Okie dokie. So I've finished stitching all the little petals on and the buds. I will get rid of the pen once I've finished stitching this on, but I've gone round all the edges with a blanket stitch of those ones and added the little dots in, and now I'm just going to put the leaves on. So I have backed these with Bondaweb. Sorry about the croaky voice. I went to the musicy festival, and because I spend quite a lot of time by myself most of the time, when I get a group of people, I chat, so hence got no voice today. I'm just pressing down a little bit. Then I'm going to stitch them. Yeah, I apologise to all my friends that were there, and I had lots of chatter. Gorgeous dinner made by lovely Liz. Homemade pizzas. Oh, smashing they were. And then later on, when we came back, we had homemade lasagna, which I believe hubby Andy, the birthday boy, made. It was absolutely delicious, all of it. And then I stayed up till goodness knows what o'clock talking. And I stayed in the lovely motorhome with my other lovely friend Ellen. So yes, good time had by all yesterday. It did rain, but you know, it's what happened, isn't it, in the UK? But we were all right. We were fine. I'm just dabbing them just to give him a little bit of a little bit of I forgot what I was saying. Just anchor them down a little bit. That's what I was trying to say. Just so just when I pick them up and stitch, they don't all drop off. Oops, I'm wetting it. Oh, goodness me. Right. Not to worry. We will stitch that down. So I've got a bit of this variegated silk. As I say, you can use anything, whatever you've got. And I'm just going to, oops, don't go through everything, all the pages. And I'm literally just going to put some little stitches in, tacking stitches in, straight stitches, just to anchor them all down at this end. But obviously go along each leaf in the direction of where you think the leaf would be. Just talking about Liz, she'd embroidered a denim jacket. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to be pinching that idea, of course. And I don't know, going back to the Chelsea Garden show, flower show, I don't know if anybody caught the day when the press go and all the celebs go and the king. I noticed Joanna Lumley was wearing the most gorgeous camphor jacket. So, yeah. fashion. Can't believe I've wet this through. Just going to try and pull, just giving it like a bit of a motion. Oh dear. I'm trying. My voice is very croaky. But I'm anchoring down and then I'm coming up through down the centre with some stitches. And you can put as many stitches in as you want. At this point. So I'm just pulling them up so they've got like a little bit of, it looks like they're sitting on the ground, if that makes any sense at all. This one doesn't want to be left out. Oh, I've gone along there, it doesn't matter. I ought to have done a little running stitch. Let me just switch this iron off because I'm bound to burn myself. It is quite difficult to stitch through the bonder web, especially if you've got a few layers of it. Try not to go through everything. Last one, do that last leaf. Oh, I've not done anything on that leaf. And that will be it. Oh, excuse me, I have to have a slurp of tea. Oh, yes, they were tribute acts, and some of them were very loosely. They were just sort of dressed like them. Oh dear. Amongst them were Ed Sheeran and Gary Barlow. Who else was there? ABBA. They were entertaining, all three. Very entertaining. And there's somebody else. Who else? Oh, Sabrina Carpenter, which I don't know a lot about. A little petite little thing. And then I'm trying to think who else. Don't know. But we didn't stay to the end because the heavens opened. We were freezing cold. We've had beautiful sunshine in the UK for weeks on end. Of course, the bank holiday weekend comes along and the weather's hideous. So, yeah, I think that's it, me done here. I know I've got extra leaves and bits and bobs that they'll come in for something else along the way. We'll see, won't we? So, just finish that off. Pop that in there. That is that done. I'll just grab the spritzing spray and get rid of, as if by magic. There we go. Like I say, sometimes it does want to come back, but usually a couple of sprays and it doesn't come back. So that is that. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have, don't forget to give me the thumbs up. If you're new, do subscribe. It's always, helps the little channel to grow. Of course, if you pop anything in the comments, I do try and read them all. Well, I don't get that many. I say do try and read them. I do read them all, and I always respond. So, and I do like to read the comments. It's always nice to see what people think. So happy stitching, everyone, and I'll see you again soon.